Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is the first and likely only, and will probably remain the only podcast that is heavy into metal and trombones. I am your host, Aaron Wilson. I am a professional trombonist and professor of music. Joining me for this and every podcast is my amazing brother, Brian Wilson. He is a longtime heavy metal bassist who now lives in Juneau, Alaska. Together we are the Brothers in Horns.
You know how you said this is probably going to be the only podcast on this topic makes me think you don't think this is a good idea.
No, I think nobody else can do it besides us.
So it's such a hard topic that it really is only possible under the two expertise that we hold.
Yes.
No one else.
No. I mean, we could have a podcast about something else, but this particular subject is one that we two are uniquely suited for.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I wish we had a different topic, but no, I'm just kidding.
Well, we could start another Seahawks podcast or another Mariners podcast, but there's too many of those out there.
No, we'd have to incorporate the trombone in it somehow. So it's just, I think what it is it's been so long since we started this. Like for people listening, they've only heard like 3 episodes, right? Maybe 4.
Yeah.
3. Is this number 4?
3 episodes. This is number 4 we're recording now.
It's been like 4 months for us. Like somebody might have found this like yesterday and like probably upon seeing it burned through it because it's such good content.
It is really good.
Man, get the show on the road. I want to get the concert going. I want to get some rehearsals going. And I got to wait another 2 months.
We're almost there, man. It's going to come faster than you think.
Are you saying I should start practicing? Should I start practicing?
Well, not the Dio song, for sure. Like, you'll be fine on that. Like, you can roll out of bed and play that one. Whatever Dio song we choose. There's not much bass in that. But
Yeah. Mr. Crowley's not too hard. But Moonchild, okay, I got to get these fingers warmed up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got one more episode, one more regular episode.
Okay.
At the beginning of April.
Right.
And then we're going to have our special Petalocalypse. Which
and
will probably
I think we're going to need another episode in there too. Like
we might.
I think like a rehearsal update episode.
Like while we're in Olympia?
Yeah, and maybe a more focused like show specific planning. So we aren't focusing on a song that we talk about or a band. It's like
show specific.
Let's dive into the nuts and bolts of what it's going to take to get this to be an awesome concert. So
for our tens of listeners out there, you are in for a plethora of content.
So much content.
So much content.
Mid-month releases.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I tried to get in touch with some of those other podcasts to get us advertised, and they didn't get back to me.
How are they not jumping on? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, don't come begging later.
Yeah.
This offer is a one-time deal.
Well, we've got those 100 total listens. Yeah. I don't want to see you on my doorstep.
Exactly. So you better hop on board while it's still cool, too.
Yeah, no fooling. Like, get in before it gets too big here.
So what do we got today?
We're talking Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, my God.
By Queensrÿche.
Now let me ask you, how much Queensryche have you listened to before we started?
Very little.
Have you heard a single song by them?
I had heard Queen of the Reich, but only because you mentioned it a few episodes ago, so I listened to it, and it's awesome.
If I remember right, we actually paused the recording to listen to it.
Yes, we did. But I had not listened to any album. I didn't know anything about this band. I knew that they existed because of working at our shared former employer, FYE.
Ooh, for your entertainment, formerly Camelot Music in the Capitol Mall.
Oh, yes. So I knew that they existed. But no, this has been new to me, and it was quite an enjoyable experience. Like, I don't. Do you want me to kind of talk about kind of what I heard with this, or
well, let me cue it up because there's some deep shit in this album.
Oh my God, yes.
This is, okay, for people who don't know, Queensryche is a band from Bellevue, Washington. If you don't know what Bellevue, Washington is, you're lucky. That town sucks. Like, it is.
There's no soul in Bellevue.
There's no soul. It's a concrete, like, freaking jungle. There's like nothing.
It is a town built for corporations.
Yes.
And medium to large businesses.
And that is really important to understand because of what this album is, which
makes
is
a lot of
like,
sense.
If you are looking for a teardown on capitalism, a discourse on economic inequality, a teardown on mainstream religious hypocrisy, addiction issues, like this album has it all. Like you don't like, and I'm here I am showing up for it. Like this, listening to this album again, it's been a little while since I put it on, like cover to cover. I was like ready to start a revolution last night. I'm telling you, I was ready. I was cleaning the house. I had it on like the sound bar cranking. I was ticking Elizabeth off with it. It was great. It was great. But yes, this is a concept album. I don't want to spoil a lot of it, but it has to do with basically like somebody waking up from like what's it called when you forget all your memories? What is that called?
Like amnesia.
And then like being manipulated by a doctor and recalling being an assassin. It's just crazy. It's crazy, and it's very theatrical. It's beautiful, and it's called Operation Mindcrime. Came out in 1988. Definitely recommend jumping into it. Jeff Tate, the vocalist, is incredible.
He's amazing.
Incredible.
Amazing.
I saw him. One of the first it was the first Maiden show I ever went to. Listen to this lineup: Queensryche, Rob Halford with his solo project, and Maiden. So it was like the three Tremors, and they actually came out and did a song together. Jeff Tate, Bruce Dickinson, and Rob Halford did a song together. The sound, what's it called? The Sound You Love to Hate, or something like that. It's sick. It's sick, man. Yeah, and Jeff Tate can still sing. Anyways, we'll probably talk in because I got some Queensryche related memories. But I'm very curious. This being your first listen through, what was your takeaway?
I was shocked for a couple reasons. So like I knew that this was their first album.
This was their third album.
This was their third album?
Well, kind of. They did they shopped some demos around. And so it was like really like small, and then but this was like their first boom, they're in the mainstream, and then they released Empire after this, which had like Silent Lucidity on it, and that like all blew up. But anyways,
I think this might have been their first one that's on Spotify. Then at least their earliest
probably
one that's on Spotify.
like Queen of the Reich's on a 4-song demo that came out beforehand, and no one picked it up at all. And then they did another.
I'm surprised. That song's so good.
I know that song rips. Yeah, but. Anyways, yeah. So, I'm taking over.
No, don't worry about it. Like I was when I was under the impression that this was their first album. I was like, all right, you're a heavy metal band. I knew that they'd formed in like '82 or something, early '80s. And your first album that you're releasing to like the general populace is a concept album. A concept album that starts off with the guy waking up in the hospital and just like talking, like the first 3 minutes of this album is like sound art. Almost.
Yeah.
it's like, oh my gosh, the audacity.
Did you think you queued into the wrong thing? You're like,
no,
what is this?
I was like,
is this a commentary on their album?
A double album with this very dark and very damning of capitalism kind of story. And just on that, just listening to their critiques of capitalism, their critiques of organized religion. It's just good to know that we've solved all those problems after 30 years.
I think this album solves the problem. Yeah, I mean, it's so weird what they had to worry about in the 80s.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Like they were ahead of their time and talking about some of this stuff.
I mean, imagine like this is after 8 years of Reagan, right? You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah. What is no? I guess it was 6 years. 6 years of Reagan. No, it was 8. It was 8. Yeah, 1980 to 88, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
That's and then HW came in and yeah. So it was a pretty very political time as if it isn't now, but like it ebbs and flows. So this is kind of like perfect timing for what's being discussed in the mainstream. But anyways, continue.
But the thing that got me, like the first time I was listening to it, and I'm just gonna pull up the set list so I can say the right names of these songs. So that's something I always forget here. But like the first time I listened to it, so I listened to that beginning little play that they have in the hospital. Okay.
When they were pantomiming the story.
And then you get Anarchy X, and it's just like building. You hear that bass coming. The bass in this.
Doom, 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 doom. Yeah.
Like I wanted to ask you about that bass. Like what did he do to get that sound? Because it's like a distortion a little bit on there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of fuzz on there. But really, they're running through compressor stacks and like boosting like individual bands of EQ to get that like doom, 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 that sound to it. And I'm going to say right now, you have been practicing Queen of the Reich, and I love that song. I really want to play this song at the thing. So we're going to have a debate. We're going to have a formal debate at the end of this, and we're going to have time limits for and against, and one opportunity to rebut each other's arguments.
I'm not against this song.
You're already losing if you're saying awesome. Aren't against it.
Well, I'll have my little thing with Queen of the Reich.
But yes, okay,
it's Anarchy.
But Anarchy X is just such a freaking killer intro. No lyrics. Yeah. And like the lead guitar when it comes in is just so epic. That in a different key because I can't sing that high. But yeah, no, the bassist in this band, Eddie Jackson, I'm a huge fan of him. He also does like backing vocals with them, and he's actually even played guitar on a track before. But this is a rare band where for the majority of they're still playing. Like the majority of their 40 years of playing, they've had for like 95% of the time the same four people, the core four, which is Jeff Tate, Michael Wilton, Eddie Jackson, and Scott Rockenfield. Scott Rockenfield, the drummer, he left in 2017, and Chris DeGarmo was like a major songwriter, wrote a lot of the best songs they had, but he like came and went throughout the years because of like personal reasons. They just didn't get along that well. But those
I
other
heard that there was a falling out with them at some point in like the 2000s, wasn't there? Because like there's also that band called Operation Mindcrime that didn't they form that? Or maybe I'm just
Operation Mindcrime was like the name of a live album that they did, basically, to come back. Was that a band though? I don't know. Like, I don't think it was a band. There's no way.
I read this, so this information is incredibly credible because it's come from Wikipedia. Me remembering this Wikipedia article from 3 weeks ago when I read it. So,
okay,
but I'd heard that they'd had a falling out and like there was some lawsuits and everything. But I could be wrong, though. Oh,
wait. Also known as Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime. He did that's the weirdest thing ever. So I guess he did like, okay. Anyways, we are not prepared at all for this podcast.
Don't worry. We'll cut
We're talking about this album, not the other thing.
But the thing I love about that bass player, what was his name again? Tell me.
Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson. He's so just like, it's so simple kind of stuff. And then he just tosses in this like really great and so well played and just in the pocket kind of lick to transition to like another section. And just that sound is just, it's perfect for this because it's just got that like that grittiness of like, they know that they're talking about some heavy material and this bass fits that perfectly. Because I don't think he has that same kind of sound in Queen of the Reich, or I haven't listened to all that much stuff, but it's like this one, it's just like, it's dirty.
This really came around at a transitionary period too. Like, especially like if you go back to Maiden when we were talking about them, like 88's when like Seven Son of Seven Son was coming out, and then their next album after that, like No Prayer for the Dying, was like this. It went really dark and it went grittier, and like I think it was just the like style of heavy metal at that time was progressing. But a lot of people consider Queensryche to be a prog metal band, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Prog metal is like really like kind of math rocky stuff that like really complicated transitions and time signatures, like changes.
No, I don't get that from them.
I don't get that from them, but they do like do some interesting like rhythmatic stuff. And if you think of like Anarchy X even has like kind of like this, it's not syncopated, but this like kind of a marching kind of feel to it under it, like dun 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 dun, that isn't really common of what you would hear in like new wave of British heavy metal, even though they weren't.
Oh no, definitely not
movement. Yeah. So, but then it goes into Revolution Calling. That's like a calling card right off the bat.
Oh man, that song. I remember the first time I was listening to it, I was walking to Section 6, which is my wife's brewery.
Hashtag ad. How much did they pay you to put that in there?
Well, they don't have to pay me because their beers are just so delicious down there, and they
How
just
come
released.
I'm not getting any of this benefit at all?
We'll bring you back some.
Yes, I demand. I demand you to cross a border with an alcoholic beverage to bring to me.
Hey, that's all right. I can do it. It's not too bad. I was walking. This song comes on. It's just like it just instantly got me. Just like, oh. Hell yeah. Oh my God, this is like getting me pumped, and it's just like, and I was like, I think it's one of those days that I was like, kind of fed up with the world around me with a little bit. So it's just like, oh yeah, capitalism sucks, man. Yeah. Just like, so it's just like, it was perfect. And then just listening to this, it's for a concept album, it has a surprisingly, you can kind of tell the story with it. Like some of these concept albums, it's very vague, but this one you can get a good story out of. And there's just so many like little callbacks, like the Operation Mindcrime kind of leitmotif, as we might call it, or motive that comes back over and over again with it. It's a great album from beginning to end, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
really good.
It's great. I highly recommend anyone who's listening to this, like just put it on and like listen. Like, and I have bagged on lyricists and frontmen like on this every single episode. I think this is actually an example of where the lyrics are actually really good and it's really smart. They aren't just some airhead air metal band. They're just actually putting a message out there that's powerful politically that I wish kind of was more mainstream. I mean, this hit like top 10 in the nation. They were like nominated for a Grammy for this album and everything.
Well, it's no wonder. It's really good.
Yeah, really good. But like, I think it's worth a listen though. I love the songs Revolution Calling. Let's see. I love the song Spreading the Disease. Oh my God.
Oh, that's a great track.
Oh, that song is so good. Eyes of a Stranger is so good. And then Sweet Sister Mary is like an actual like really interesting kind of like, it's almost like an opera song like in the middle of it, and it features a local Seattle singer as well who you can actually go and get vocal lessons from if you wanted. Like, I have a friend that gets vocal lessons from her, like to this day.
I was going to ask, like her voice matches so well with that band and with like the lead singer's voice of this.
Jeff Tate, yeah.
Jeff Tate, like so well. Like it was like it was so close to when I'm like, is he just kind of putting on like a drag voice a little bit for this? Like it's so similar, but like she's got such great just matches like his diction very well, and just like the style of it is great, just wonderful. Yeah, I love I Don't Believe in Love. That's such a good song. Yeah, right there. I never
will. So good. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, we both agree then that this album rocks.
Consensus.
Actually, I have proof too that I always have rocked out to this album from the beginning. If you go to YouTube and you look up Seattle 2001 Queensryche, like they recorded a live DVD back in the day, and Tim and I got tickets to go to the filming of it. And it was
you showed me
awesome.
the video of you. Like, they caught you on the camera, didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't like zoom in on anyone in the entire DVD except for me and Tim, because like it was a bunch of old heads out there, man. It was like older people that are like beyond their head banging days. And there's like Tim and me there, and we're like 20 years old or something like that, 19. And like, if you go to the song Revolution Calling, you can just see us just hands over the head, just rocking out, the whole time. And it's freaking awesome. That's a memory I will not forget. Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes, which means I will forget to give it to Aaron to put it in the show notes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's how, professional.
Right.
No,
Speaking of show notes, don't we have notes on this episode here?
So the other professional thing that we have going on, the completely fleshed out show notes. I did want to ask you a question. It's like just coming from listening to this and how much social commentary they have in this album. I was wondering if any of your bands ever used their platform to comment on larger societal problems or ills.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say, regrettably, not so much, just because I don't believe me at the age of 18 had the world view nor the knowledge base to write anything that probably would have been worth a damn, to be completely honest. And I'm kind of really happy we didn't try to do that. But I say regrettable because, music is such a platform out there. It's an opportunity to get eyes and ears and spread a message as opposed to just writing stupid shit. I mean, the stupid shit is important too, and I think that's where we largely wrote. We wanted to have fun, and we were interested in like mythical things and history, and that's what we wrote about. So I guess history maybe to a little extent, but if I were to do a modern day band, or like Brothers and Horns were to like create a song, absolutely it should have some sort of message. It doesn't have to like bum everyone out. And I know my politics can definitely bum people out because I see a lot of stuff things that are going on out there right now. But yeah, we didn't really. I didn't get too much into politics until I was like really later on in college. And I think that exposure to different people and different places is really important to developing those causes. So like me, first time listening to Queensryche, so much of what they said probably just flew right over my head.
Oh yeah, you were just listening to the good grooves and the great lines and all that, the basses and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we do have an opportunity we have a platform to talk about social causes if we want to, Brian. Like if we want to, like after this concert, which is going to be, from the looks of it, like all covers and whatnot. But if we did want to write our own pieces, we could talk about social commentary, and that would fit pretty well into the overarching thing with the Canada Council project too.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. Something I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
You gotta do that trick though, where you say all the words through your trombone though, like you did that one concert.
Man, I'll have to learn how to do that again. For those of you listening, I did this piece called General Speech by a composer named Erickson. I'm trying to remember his first name. I'm terrible with names if you haven't figured that out already. But you have to recite the entire retirement speech from General Douglas MacArthur that he gave at West Point through the trombone. Well, it's not entirely, it's like an abridged version. But you're playing and you're saying the words at the same time. And it's a very interesting piece, and you have to dress up as them too. But,
I could say, I've been to a lot of shows before. That by far was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness, that's only scratching the surface of the trombone repertoire.
Oh boy, we need to experiment. We need to navigate those fields. Let's get weird. Let's get real weird. That's season 2, ladies and gentlemen, is going to get really freaking weird.
Beginning after the concert, that's when season 2 of this show starts, because that's our next our transition to whatever the hell this is going to be. Our
preparation for the International Trombone Festival. We need to get an invite, get paid to go, and get really weird. Where's the next one at? What is it, like Stockholm or something?
So the next one this year is in Salt Lake City. I'm going to that one.
No, I don't want to go to I don't want to go to Utah. I'm never going to Utah.
No. I don't know where it is next year, but the year after that is in Switzerland.
Okay, that's the one we need to go to.
Well, that's hopefully going to be the Wire and Bone year, or not the Wire and Bone year, the Canada Council Project year that we all go out there. So
I'm envisioning live podcast recording in front of the 10 fans we have, and
I bet our podcast would play well in Europe. Like, they love their metal.
It would play well. What are we doing here, man? You're in Canada. You got the Queen on your currency. That should be a pretty easy transport to the European crowd. I mean, I have some European friends I play like video games with, but like you're on the pipeline. You're on the pipeline of the Queen. Rest in peace.
Talk about social commentary. We could talk a lot about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there goes our listenership. It's almost as if that crown thing is not working out, but
yeah. It's like, let's have these special people that don't really have anything to do. Let's pay them a bunch of money and give them a bunch of titles, and
yeah,
it works. Sure.
Okay. There's a lot of buy-in there.
All right. So for the anti-crown folks that are still with us,
we have isolated every audience here. I've like spat out all of my political beliefs already. So
we've had anti-capitalism. Yes. We've had probably far left-wing politics, anti-monarchy. That's what you get here at the Brothers in Horns podcast.
I know, anti-vocalists most of the time.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
All right.
Well, shall we talk some metal trombone?
Yes, I'm glad that I talked to Mom the other day on the phone, because she informed me that you uploaded things that to the interwebs of you playing, because I had no clue.
I sent it to you.
You did? Through how?
I sent it through your Instagram. I tagged you on
Instagram. Tagged.
Well, hey! To be fair, the last things that you sent me, the messages, you sent it through Instagram. I'm like, what the f*** is
Probably
this?
Did. You should link me through my live journal. I don't know. So okay. So do you have the ability to pull these up?
I got them already pulled up. I'm going to share the screen.
Okay, I haven't even seen these. These are going to be live reactions. So what are we starting with?
Let's start with, just because we're talking about Queensryche, let's start with Queen of the Reich.
Oh, Queen of the Reich. Okay. People, if you haven't heard this song is like Queensryche's first song, basically. And Jeff Tate, it's like they wanted to make a statement that Jeff Tate could sing super, super high. Because it's like, I can't sing the note, but like his chorus is just like holding the highest note you could think of for the longest amount of time.
Okay, so this is Queen of the Reich. You can see me on the screen here.
Yep, I can see you.
All right, here we go. Hopefully the sound works.
So how hard is it to hit that high of a note on a trombone?
Well, it's a hell of a lot easier. I don't know if you noticed on the recording, but I was using the small bore trombone.
No, that details. I missed that. It looks like a trombone. Okay, yeah, you'll show me.
I'll show you.
She's holding it. Okay, he's going to go get it. He's left me alone again.
I'm right here. I'm still with you.
So for the people that are still here, who's your favorite host? It's me, right?
I think it probably is, Brian. Wait.
Oh, you can still hear me.
But this is the small bore trombone.
Okay,
Maybe
small bore.
I'll take a picture of it and put it in the show notes.
So that allows you to blast higher. You don't have to push as much air or something, or.
Well, the thing with this is like I can hit those same notes on the large bore trombone, but this makes it so much easier to sustain. It makes it so much easier to kind of play in that style. Like I can play much more aggressively with articulation and whatnot. Mm-hmm. With the bighorn, like it's designed to be, chamber music, solo music, orchestral music. It's a very different kind of sound than what we're trying to do here.
Kind of a fuller tone, less of like a big band kind of sound.
Yeah. Well, let me do it. I'll probably fuck it up, but let me.
Okay. We've
So,
got a live performance. Jesus!
Probably should have warned you this could be.
Good Lord, man! You just blew my ears out. That thing's loud. Yeah, no, because like on the recording that you did is probably through like a mic that suppressed it down a little bit.
Through a
like because
mic,
I was gonna say like we got to figure out how to get you loud, but apparently that's not an issue.
That is not going to be a problem.
Yeah,
and we'll amplify it too. We'll put like because I had like a delay pedal on there because he has a little like a pretty noticeable delay on the.
Yeah, it's pretty like big reverb, big delay on it.
Big reverb, a lot of reverb on there. And in this space right here, like my office, the ceiling is like 15 feet high in some of these places. So it's like it rings in this room.
Wow. Yeah, I'm excited. That's awesome. Do you think you'd be able to hear that over some amplified guitars? Like we're just like jamming?
It depends on how heavy y'all are getting. Like that's why you do need to have it amplified, just so it's going to get that extra little bit, and just so it gets the extra, the delay and all that in there.
Did you ask how heavy we're getting?
Well, of course it's going to be freaking heavy. I know it's going to be heavy.
I don't understand this question. It's like, all the way heavy. It's all.
Are we talking like the beginning
Maximum.
of Don't Talk to Strangers, or are we talking like when he gets into it? Like. It depends on like the part of the song. So it's like we do need the amplifier. Otherwise, I'm going to be by the end of it, just be dying.
This is making me think. Like I was in band from like age 5th grade through like 12th grade, right? And so I'm familiar with sheet music, and you have like the forte, double forte, or whatever. Like I forget all the names of it, Pessimo or something, Passissimo. But it's basically telling you how loud you have to be playing your part. Right? Because you shouldn't have like a bass clarinet that's cranking all the time. Sometimes you got to play it low. I cannot remember a single time in any of my metal bands of when I've been like, yeah, you should really play that part a little quieter.
Of course not. Of course
it's just always loud. Even like and we had parts where it's like really like quiet. It's just we turn off the like, you'd have an A/B switch and it'd turn into a clean tone or something. I don't know.
All right, Brian, I'm going to have to put a little pause on this because we have a caller, which is very strange because this is not a call-in show, but we have a caller.
What's our phone number?
Who really wants to talk to you specifically.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm going to let her in.
Oh, it's Kate.
There we go.
Hey, there you go. Hey.
Hi. Hi, guys. Hi.
Welcome to the show.
This is my wonderful, wonderful wife, Kate, who is the tap room manager at Section 6, your place for wonderful beer in Brandon, Manitoba.
Hi, Brian. Hi,
I understand Aaron is getting
our first-time caller.
Oh, my God. I understand. I have a beef. Aaron's getting paid in beer. I haven't gotten any beer yet.
Aaron gets paid in so much beer, it's ridiculous.
Oh, we have so much beer in the house.
I'm some chump over here just like doing this for free. I'm drinking tea.
Major perk. Yeah, no, I have all the free beer I could ever want, and it's so good too.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be a part of to call in. Hi, Brothers and Horns.
It's amazing that you knew we were even recording right now, given that we don't even have a phone number and this isn't live. The timing's impeccable.
I know someone in the podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
So Kate wanted to call in because She has a bone to pick.
Okay.
I don't want, Aaron. I wasn't planning on coming at it aggressive. Like I was planning on moving into that.
I thought you'd just go right into it. I thought you were going to.
We're real sweet at first, and then we attack. I've been enjoying the podcast, and up until last
Appreciate
week's
that
episode. Yeah,
okay.
Thanks. Yeah, last week's episode. There's just a brief 30-second segment that I don't know, just kind of caught me off guard a little bit. There was the discussion of where do bands go when they bring in a new singer, and I think you were quite right, Brian, in your words of, you either hire someone who's pretty much exactly the same, or you go a different route. And unfortunately, you used a wrong example, in my opinion, of AC/DC replacing Bon Scott with Brian Johnson. Not at all the same.
So why do you feel that way?
Well, because first of all, Bon Scott was never intended to be a vocalist. He if you listen to most of his songs, he talks through most of them. My God, even the Jack, he just talks his way through it. Right. And yeah, they were both heavily inspired by Little Richard, but I think Bon was more inspired through his dancing and the way he gyrated his body. But you bring in little Italian pizzeria Brian Johnson, and that man has like a muscular raspiness and so much soul. And I don't want to say he was better, but he was definitely a vocalist. And comparing them is just asinine.
Can you tell me what Brian Johnson was doing before he joined AC/DC?
I don't know. No, I imagine making pizzas or designing tiny little hats.
If I remember right, Brian Johnson was in an AC/DC cover band before joining AC/DC, which is how AC/DC learned of Brian Johnson.
But I think to be
because
fair,
he was
Brian,
so convincing in his role as the lead singer of AC/DC being Bon Scott.
I understand that. But I think we can all agree that just because someone is a cover band doesn't mean that the vocalist can pull off the previous band or the other band's vocals.
This is true.
Look who sings for AC/DC now. Well, who did? Axl Rose? What?
Yeah, that's a mistake. That I don't get that.
Yes, we both agree on that.
That's not even the same band, like at that point.
It's
so,
not.
Well, I do apologize. And I can say I'm not the foremost, information source for vocalists. I've mentioned every episode how vocalists don't matter. Like that
is true. That
the weakest link of the whole band. I don't care. But to me, they sound the same. Like they do. And to like 85%. 85%. Okay. But I do believe that Brian Johnson is a better singer than Bon Scott. Like at the end of it. Yes.
Yes, I would say for vocal quality, yes. And I appreciate you saying that and admitting that you're wrong. At least that's what I heard.
I will do anything for our 5-star rating.
Yeah, you are wrong and you should feel wrong. So that's okay.
But I do think Bon Scott could probably win a fight against Brian Johnson.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Brian Johnson is a better
stand out and just keep him a distance away.
Brian Johnson does have the leverage, though. It depends if it's like a wrestling match or if it's like a straight up boxing match.
Oh yeah, that right there is the traditional question of who would win, Admiral Adama or Captain Jean-Luc Picard, because one is tall and spry, and the other one was just a little juggernaut. So whatever. Anyway, but it's not about a fight. And
I will take my L on this one and say that was a bad example.
That was all I wanted. That's really all I wanted. Thank you.
Please subscribe, and rate us 6 stars.
And recommend us to your friends.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
And if you know anyone in Europe, apparently we would play very well in Europe.
Well, wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for letting me call in. I have people down in the bathroom that I need to go help out. So.
Oh, you're at the bar. This is even better.
Yeah,
That's
I'm at the brewery right now. I'm at the brewery. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the new episode. Thanks, guys.
Cool. See ya.
Thanks for calling in. I thought she was going to come in much harder than that.
I was worried because I knew exactly what was coming to me, so I was trying to play as nice as possible at the very beginning.
She was going to be like, how dare you? I thought that was going to come out. That did not.
I did go back and I listened to some Bon Scott and Brian Johnson. I was like, oh man, they are a little different. But they are kind of similar.
I can't say that they're not a little similar, but like if you listen to kind of what Brian Johnson brought to the group after, it does take a slightly different turn. Because like I hear Bon Scott, and he was just so animated in his vocals. Mm-hmm. Like he had a kind of a goofy voice, but it was so charming too at the same time.
So,
you listen.
Yeah.
Well, you listen to like the Jack, like she mentioned, or Big Balls, or anything like that, and he's like waxing poetic in those songs.
Sure.
Whereas Brian Johnson is just like attack, 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 attack.
Yeah.
You know.
But at the end of the day, it's a singer, so we're kind of comparing like triangle players to each other or something in a band. So
I did enjoy that triangle commercial from the Super Bowl. That was pretty.
Yes, exactly. That's why I thought of that. Okay, so what the heck were we talking about? So we listened to Queen of the Reich.
Listened to Queen
Very
of the Reich.
good. We were talking about different trombones. Yes.
But yeah,
all right, we got more clips.
Yeah, we got one more clip.
Okay.
So I'm going to preface this by saying I had to do this on my phone because I started to record this like using my usual setup, and I was using this smaller trombone.
Yes.
And I've only had this for about a week, this horn, just going to work on it. And when I was recording Queen of the Reich, like there's so much reverb on there and there's so much delay that you couldn't hear something that came up with when I was trying to record. This is more of the guitar solo, Randy Rhoads guitar solo. Mm-hmm. When I was like trying to record it, like I kept on listening back, and there's this like high pinging kind of reverb.
Okay.
That was going on. So I was like, I kept on turning the reverb down or trying different settings on my pedal, and it just wouldn't go away. It sounded like that, like, you remember Grandma's old clock?
Yeah, I remember it.
And it had that kind of like.
It didn't play a single note in tune. It was like all completely out of tune. I don't even know what song it was playing.
No, I don't know. It was something, but it had that like kind of ringing on top of it. So I realized that this smaller trombone, I was getting more of like the higher overtones coming out.
Oh,
so it was the room itself. So I got to record this in a different space. So I apologize for your rendition of this that you're going to hear being a little lower quality in terms of sound quality. But I'm hoping that before this episode drops, we can
play with that too with Pedalocalypse, because you get an EQ pedal and scoop out certain EQ points for it, and you can just turn it on and off for when you're playing whatever. So
yeah, my EQ pedal is pretty basic. So
and you can use an EQ pedal as a booster as well. That's what we used to do back in the day.
Oh yeah.
For when you have to play extra loud.
When you have to go to 11, you know?
Yes.
Let me put the second screen on here. You just tell me if you can't hear it. So this is the more of the solo. So I started at the beginning, but I go about 2/3 of the way.
So this is after like another month of practicing the solo.
Yeah, and on the new horn and everything. It's on the new horn.
Is this recorded today?
Yes, it was recorded this morning.
Okay, I was going to say you're wearing the same shirt.
I was wearing the same shirt. Anyway.
All right.
So here it is.
Dude, yeah, that's sick. That's sick. Especially that run. You didn't have it in the last one, that from really low. I can tell it was pretty difficult to play because your hand is like going all over the place. That's sick, man. That's gonna be a showstopper. And we'll get into this on the set list, but it's part of what makes me a little nervous to play this one first.
Oh yeah, I don't think we should do this one first. I think we need to kind of ease into it.
But I have a solution to that, which we'll get to later. But yeah, that's sick. That's sick. And so did you?
Go ahead.
So did you have effects on that one?
No, I didn't because
No
like
effects,
again, it's just too much ring in the room for it.
Yeah.
But I will put it through some effects. I gotta get the right kind of distortion pedal for it, which I could definitely use some advice on that. I don't know which one to do because I tried it through the big muff pedal, but that's not the right sound.
No, that's more bass. Yeah. I think what you're gonna want to get is like a tube screamer or something like that. So, and it also depends on what amplification you're having too. So that's going to be Pedalocalypse, but the most important thing is you can play it, which that's going to be obviously the hardest stretch of the whole song. Do they still call that the Band-Aid? Like, is that
Band-Aid?
The Band-Aid? I swear to God, this is a Mr. Allison term, which is like the hardest part of the song is called the Band-Aid.
I've never heard that. And I talk to that dude all the time.
Ask him if he remembers that next time.
I'll have to.
Yes, I swear.
I'll invite him out to the show, too. We'll see if he comes out to the show.
Oh, do we have another caller? Because if you can pull that off, then you can pull off the rest of the stuff. I think after this, the hardest thing we're going to have is composition. Like, and we texted a little bit about this because they're going to start learning the songs, the backing band, Gunslinger and everything. But like, they just need to learn everything, all the parts as if there's no trombone. And then you can just like plug and play. And then you're just saying like, don't play this or harmonize with me here. Because I do want to hear you harmonizing with a guitar and trombone. Oh, I want to hear that. Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
But so this small bore horn that I'm playing on has made that a lot easier in some respects. And I'm still getting used to the horn a little bit. But like, I can just rip it on that thing. Man, I have so little notes for that. There's only like one part where I want you to do like a flutter tongue on a rip up when you're doing it. But out of that, everything's good. It's perfect. Yeah, and I'm going to keep on toying around with it and like try to see if I can get some of those dive bombs in there. The problem with me is like I have to breathe, like so it's like a lot of times he does the dive bombs like where he's like between phrases and whatnot. Like that's the place to breathe for me.
It's like when you have a verse in hip hop where it's like, oh my God, I didn't take a breath the whole time. You should try that. Just do the whole thing in one breath. Like sure, it'd be sick. You know what? This would be
just don't breathe. That's
when we have Tim. Like Tim knows that solo in and out.
Oh yeah,
like, you guys should like compare notes on it. Like when
I would love to talk to him about it.
Yeah, because I want him to play on that song. I want him to do the first solo, so people are going to be like, "Oh, there's no way." Yeah, there's no way that the trombone's going to play the second solo. It's the harder of the two. And then you play the second solo and shock everybody. And we do that pause and everything. But I think Tim will be able to bring a good perspective on how to approach that.
Oh, Tim, I did the Queen of the Reich thing, posted on there, and he liked my little video on there. I was like, oh my God, Tim liked my metal video. I'm a little intimidated, to be quite honest.
I tell you, and he's getting excited. He was like totally saying, no, Powercast can't play. We can't pull it off. I understand that for a variety of reasons, but I think he's getting motivated. Like he emailed me 2 nights ago. He's like, yeah, just doing some Sunday night jams, working on some new stuff. What do you think of this new Power Castle song? Give me some ideas. I'm like, heck yeah, he's getting excited, man. He's totally pumped. So
that dude is so good. He's so good at guitar. So it's like, it's going to be intimidating to play that in front of him. Good Lord.
Oh, dude, you'll be fine. Trust me. After years of playing with him being freaking awful at my instrument, he just wants to have a good time. So I was supposed to. That's so weird. That was like a Bach, or a Beethoven like thing I just did right there. Like
it's Beethoven 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal trombone.
I didn't mean to do that, but whatever. Maybe that's going to be the lamest intro into that segment that we do every time now.
That's an important piece for the trombone. That was the very first major symphony that included the trombone in it.
So could you record just like the da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, and then we can record like metal trombone over it, and then we'll just play that when it goes into
and then I go
yeah.
That's
Okay. So what do we got? We got some big news.
We got some big freaking news.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news. So we've got our wonderful, wonderful friend Jim Farley, who we talked to last month on the podcast. He went ahead and got our location set and all three bands, including ourselves, set for the day of the show. We are playing at McCoy's Tavern in Olympia, Washington on April 28th as part of Arts Walk.
Hey listeners, producer Cade here. Just a correction, it's actually on Saturday, April 29th.
3-band show. It's going to be us opening, Gunslinger, reunion of Gunslinger, and Hellbelly.
Hellbelly, man. That's going to be a loud ripping show. They got Brian Sparhawk in that band. Did I hear that Sean McCoy's in Hellbelly right now too?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, baby. This is some old school Olympia talent coming out, and Hellbelly is loud AF. So this is definitely worth it to come. It's on Friday night of Arts Walk as well, which is like crazy. Because it's like, it goes on Friday, Saturday, and you would think Saturday might be crazy because it's all day. No. People get off of work and they just go down and party for the whole night. So this is going to be at McCoy's, a packed show. It's going to be packed. And it's going to be...
They're not going to know what to do with that trombone thing.
People are going to go, what the heck is this? So hopefully we go on a little later in the night. It will be the opener, but like hopefully the music starts a little later when people are a little more,
I think once they hear it, so it's going to be awesome.
No, but dude, yes. People will be stoked, dude. It's going to be sick.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are in the Pacific Northwest, you're around on April 28th, get to Olympia, come out and see us. It's going to be awesome. We'll put more details on our Instagram and all that.
Yeah, we need a flyer. Like, didn't you say that they're making a flyer already for it?
Yeah. They're going to make a flyer for it, and I got to get a logo to them.
Who's making the flyer?
I have no idea.
I have somebody that could make a flyer.
I'll inquire with Jim. See what we can do with it.
I don't want some stupid like clip art flyer. Like I want an epic flyer on it. So I think I know somebody that could do a really cool one too. So maybe we can have more than one. So people like if they don't like the one flyer, they see the other and like, oh, that show looks freaking cool. I'm gonna go to that.
Not like this other show that I saw. At the same place.
The nice thing is though, is like for Arts Walk, like you don't even really need to promote it. Like people just go because they know that there's gonna be a metal show at there. So yeah.
I'm just glad we were able to get that. McCoy's like that's so awesome.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big lineup to be on if you want to play a metal show for Arts Walk. So be ready. Be ready.
All right. So final thing we're going to talk about today is trying to finalize the set list. We have some things that are pretty well set in stone, and then we've got some debates.
Can we talk songs first before we go into order of songs? We should talk about songs.
So I think we're both agreed Mr. Crowley is in.
Mr. Crowley's 100% in.
We don't have this on the list, but I'd still love to do The Wizard.
The Wizard?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm good with The Wizard.
Just because I think that would be a great... little trombone solo pretending to be a harmonica. I think it'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah, okay. We can do it. That's a pretty easy one to learn too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dio, we're talking about Last in Line, but then you also brought up Don't Talk to Strangers.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Which is they're really both, great.
Yeah,
great
they're
song.
both killer. I think I'm going to lean on you for this one because they're both kind of similar. I think we can get Nick Paul to sing for this one too, which is incredible because his nickname is Little Dio. I'm going to leave that to you. Whichever one you think the trombone fits in best.
I mean, I was listening to, like, I've listened to both. I've listened to Last in Line. I can kind of hear where the trombone fits into that. I listened to Don't Talk to Strangers. I listened to that live version of it, which is amazing with Dio's hand choreography that he has in that. And I can hear some cool spots with that. Like I think either tune it would be me kind of coming up with like trombone figures to play sporadically in there, like not covering like a guitar part or anything like that. Maybe I take a solo and do a guitar-esque kind of solo, but not necessarily doing the actual solo.
I think, well, yeah, maybe what if like one of the ways we apply the trombone is like the backing part of the solo is like you and me getting creative with it together, like where we're maybe playing licks off each other or something like that. Anything to draw the people away from what the guitarist is doing, because who cares? Like, you know, I think the reason why I jumped to Don't Talk to Strangers, besides it being like one of my favorite Dio songs, is that part that's like dun 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 dun. I just heard that in the trombone, you know.
Oh, I thought the same thing too. It's like,
yeah, and that's like when you bring out your bigger trombone or something. I don't know. Yeah, but
I can always put the octave pedal on there too.
That is true. So I don't know. I'm fine with either one of those. So I'm going to leave that one to you. Whatever one you think is.
I'll listen to it and see which one kind of speaks to me as a trombonist the most, and then we'll figure it out.
Let me put a note here. Aaron decides. Okay. So that's 3 songs for sure. Wizard, Crowley, and a Dio song.
We want to do an Iron Maiden song.
We want to do an Iron Maiden song, and that's going to be contingent upon our Queensrÿche debate. And then what about a Yasmin song? If we have Tim on stage, it'd be like kind of a reunion.
I'd be up for it. I don't know any of the songs, but if I listen to some of them, I'm sure I can figure it out. Well, do you have one that you're thinking of?
Jim sent it over, and I'm thinking either Silent Highwayman could be really cool. Just ignore my backing vocals in it because I sang really out of tune on that. Or the Musical Gun, one of those two. Everybody likes the Musical Gun, but I think Silent Highwayman's pretty epic. But it might be too long, so we'll see. Just choose one of those two. So either Musical Gun or Silent Highwayman.
All right, yeah, I'll take a listen to them. I'm hoping to have this all figured out by like March 10th or 12th or something, just so I can give them plenty of time.
Yeah, and so the only ones that Tim's going to be on is the Yasmin one and Mr. Crowley.
For sure.
Okay. And then, so Queensrÿche. The moment everybody's been waiting for on this podcast is the debate. And we should do a debate each podcast, a structured debate, mind you, where we have 2 sides, highly contentious sides, and we have a maximum of 2 minutes each to explain why we are right and the other person is dead ass wrong. And then we each get a minute to rebut, and then we have to decide a way of who's right.
Between the two of us who think
Between the two of us.
Right.
So we may need a guest. We may need a guest for this. But for this first one, we're going to go in good faith that we are being honest with each other of who provided the better argument.
I think we're both mature enough now.
Yes.
That we could do this.
And I've spent 0 time prepping this because I didn't want to have a defined speech because for the listeners, I didn't tell Aaron about any of this before the show. So
that's true. I've spent 0 time, obviously, because I just learned about this.
So who do you want to go first? So the debate is, do we play Queen of the Reich or do we play Anarchy X into Revolution Calling? So who goes first?
Shall we flip a coin to see who goes first?
Shall we flip a coin? Yes.
All right.
Do you have a loonie?
No. Actually, for some strange reason, I have a U.S. nickel.
Okay, those are pointless.
I know.
So, I will call it.
All right.
Heads.
Here you go. It's tails.
Tails, you're going first.
Okay. Queen of the Reich.
Hang on. I have to get the timer. Okay. You get 2 minutes. And I'll put my hand up when you have 20 seconds left.
All right.
Okay, go.
Queen of the Reich lies very well on the trombone. It's got that star power quality that I know would be a big hit with people, especially playing all those high E's. Like, what's not to love about that tune? It's going to be one that everybody knows. Who's into metal, they're going to know that song. And it would be a pretty big hit, I think. Two, I do want to have one of these tunes that we are doing the vocals on, that I'm doing the vocals on, as a trombonist. So it's either going to be this Queensryche tune, or we have to find the Maiden tune we're going to do the vocals on, because I don't want to be doing that on most of the tunes. So, and I don't think that works as well with Revolution Calling, because I think you do need to have the lyrics in that. Not to say that we couldn't that's the end all be all of that, but like I do think that Queen of the Reich definitely works better for the trombone taking over the vocals. 3, it fucking rocks. It's a great song. It's like they're probably their most popular song for a reason. Maybe outside of Silent Lucidity. Like it's huge. It was a huge song. So I will just concede my time. The rest of it, I think that's fine. Those are my points.
All right. Strong arguments. You used 1 minute and 21 seconds of your time. Obviously not a wise move. So.
Well, had I had time to prepare, maybe I would have had more.
Let the jury notice that this is not, he does not have strong enough convictions to prepare his arguments for today's debate.
Well, I'm on the jury, so I'm just going to put that one aside.
The jury notice the conflict of interest on the jury. All right, I will start. I will agree that Queen of the Reich is a great song, but it is far from their most popular song. They have songs like Silent Lucidity. They have Don't Talk to Strangers. They have songs like Revolution Calling. They have songs like, not Don't Talk to the Eyes of the Stranger.
I wasn't going to point that out.
Eyes of a Stranger.
Let the record show that the defendant here doesn't even know what he's talking about.
But,
anyway, continue.
But Queen of the Reich is a one-trick pony. If it was, one high E at the height of the song, then that would be a good argument. But he hits it not just in the first 10 seconds of the song, but then like 3 more times. And so it kind of loses its flair a little bit. Whereas Anarchy X into Revolution Calling is the beginning of the album that we talked about today. It is a natural intro. It's epic. And I think in the town that we are playing in, which is known for its extreme social progressive politics, the lyrics in this song would be a way of making a statement to a crowd that is at an event and very charged politically already. I also believe that the trombone fits into Revolution Calling better, such that there are more ways for you to highlight how a trombone can interplay with not only the bass guitar, but the lyrics as well, because I do think that you can actually play the lyrics while a lyricist is singing it. So I have 15 seconds left to say that the jury looks very good today, and I'm very happy for you to show up. And this is a better intro because we aren't going to do Mr. Crowley in the intro anymore. End of opening arguments.
It's a compelling argument, sir.
Okay, you get 1 minute
argument.
rebuttal.
Yes, Queen of the Reich, I will contend, is a one-trick pony. But think about all the great one-trick ponies that we've had in our lives. Think about one Mr. DK Metcalf, who, when we drafted him, was going to just run go routes, and that's essentially what he did the first year, and he was amazing. So, one-trick ponies, don't demean that. Don't diminish that. Second, there's so much cool pedal work that I'm going to do with the Queen of the Reich that's going to make it just awesome. Like, I'm thinking about that beginning where it's like you're holding that thing, and it's like got all the reverb and all the extra delays and everything. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. 3, we can find an intro song. I'm not worried about that.
Fair enough. Right on time. we can find an intro song, but we don't have one, and we haven't identified one. And we just literally said the one intro song that we were going to do would be better later on in the set. This is the natural intro song because it's the beginning of the album. And it sets the tone for the rest. And what's beautiful about it is it doesn't start with the trombone. We can be epic and people be like, oh, this is just like some cover band or something going on. Looks the same. Then you come behind from the back of the stacks and then you come in at that high intro lead guitar part and people are like, what is this? The effect is worth making this decision to play this song over Queen of the Reich. I'm not even going to bring up the other option, but also DK Metcalf is not a one-trick pony. We thought he was only going to go roads, but he ran a pretty full route tree in his first year as a Seahawk, first 2 years.
I know, I felt dirty saying it. It's the only one I could think of at the top of my head.
Oh, boy.
I will concede here. I think you're right with Anarchy X and Revolution Calling.
I think it would be a sick intro. And it kind of kills me because I think less people know Revolution Calling, but I don't think a whole lot of people know Queen of the Reich either, to be honest. Like, this crowd, how many do you think will know Queensryche? Besides, like, the burnouts that are at McCoy's every night.
Well, I think you're absolutely right when we're talking about, like, the social commentary on this and how it hasn't really... Nothing's changed in the past 30 years. I think these lyrics like really do speak to that injustice that they noticed back in 88 or 87, whatever it was. And I think people are just as fired up about capitalism and all that baggage that comes with it. So I agree. It would make a great intro.
I wonder, though, and I was playing with this idea last night, is there a way to combine the two songs? Like, orchestrate them where you're playing, like, the first half of Revolution Calling and end it with Queen of the Reich, like the last verse and chorus.
I don't know. I think it kind of cheapens the song. Like, I don't think we're in the business of playing medleys, you know?
Yeah. I guess you could call it a medley. But we're talking, let's hear, I guess it's, the two songs combined is 6 minutes and 8 seconds. I think that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. All right. Are you okay with that, though? Because I do not want to be the unilateral on this.
Oh, no. I think that works. We just need to, then I'm going to insist on the Iron Maiden song being one that I do the vocal part on.
Absolutely, you should. And I think it would be better because more people are going to know what the vocal part is to a Maiden song than they would a Queensryche song.
That's probably true.
All right. Feel kind of bad about it, but I think it's the right move.
You should.
I think
it's fine.
Okay. Good. So we're doing Anarchy X into Revolution Calling, and then that's it. That's the set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 will be the Maiden song. And then we'll come up with
that should be enough, yeah.
I think that's going to be a set. And honestly, that might almost be a little too long. So we got to be prepared for that. So,
yeah. Well, it's okay to have like an extra song in there because we can, we can always open up the wizard for extra choruses if we find that we're on the short side because we have to cut a song.
Yeah.
That's just simple blues right there. So there's not much there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And we may get encored, you never know.
we won't get encored.
Okay.
That was interesting.
Thank God they're done. Jeez, man. Okay, cool. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now I can start practicing, I suppose.
I'll figure out the.
The song we could cut. We could cut the Yasmin song. So. Because that's like kind of, I don't know. It's a different thing. But I think it would be cool, at least I don't know.
I want to do it just because that was your old band, you know? I want to play one of your tunes. I want to have an experience doing it. So, I'm all for it.
All right. Sounds good. We'll do it.
Yeah. So we'll figure out, I'll figure out the final tunes for it. We'll come up with a set list at some point. There's no rush on that. But then we can send it to Jim so he can forward it to everybody that needs to know. Are you going to? So Nick Paul, you said, is probably willing to sing.
I put it out there. We'll see, but they should be prepared to sing this song though. Like Brian or Jim should be ready. So, but just say we may sub in Nick Paul for this one song, but also Nick lives in Seattle, so like I don't know if like he'll even be down. So we'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, it'll be all good.
But they should just learn how to play all the parts to all these songs, and then we'll figure out the rest.
And I'll save them time too. I'll make sure that they know they don't have to learn the certain like solos if I know that I'm doing them.
Yeah. So okay. So we have one more regular scheduled episode after this.
Yeah. The one coming up in early April. First Wednesday.
What are we talking about?
I was thinking we could talk about some. Well, like hold on here. So we could talk about Judas Priest, perhaps.
Yes, you talked about Painkiller.
Yeah, I mean that'd be a great tune to do, but like I'd rather do the Yasmin song on there, just to have the familial ties,
Let's do a Priest episode next, and then after that, then we got all the special content coming out.
Oh yeah, there's all of our listeners. You got some treats coming up. All right, we got the live Petalocalypse stream on Brian's very popular Twitch channel. We've got probably a second episode that time, maybe recorded in Olympia. I don't know, with Brian and I in the same room.
I mean, yeah, we should do an update on how it's going that week, because we'll have a couple rehearsals, and so we should just like digest what we're learning,
Oh yeah, like maybe like after the like the day after the first rehearsal.
Yeah.
We just set up record something real quick, and then I'll see if Cade can quickly turn it around.
Yeah. And then the show, and then we'll do like a season wrap up after that.
Yeah, and then the next adventure, whatever that is.
It's gonna get weird.
Well, I think we're gonna figure stuff out here too, because like I want you to like we're gonna be Peter, Brendan, and I. We're gonna jam some. Because Brendan's going to bring his monitor synthesizer. We're going to bring some microphones. We'll set up in the house that we're staying in.
Sick.
So it'd be awesome if you sat in and jammed. I understand if you can't though. Like if you're.
Of course I will. What else am I going to do?
Well, you might have people to visit as well. So
my whole plans there is like eat a ton of old school pizza, get these rehearsals done. I have a couple people I'm going to meet up with. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but like for you in the future with this, like I definitely see a space for you to be in the Canada Council project, like my portion of it. I would like you to be.
Yeah, if there's room, I'm all for it. Sounds fun.
Anyway, so if you like Brothers in Horns, tell your friends.
Give us all the stars. Yeah,
like,
tell the friends.
Give all the stars. We're on
Share
Instagram.
the posts. We're trying to get the word out. So.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on every platform. So share it up. Share it up. We want to get lots of people listening to this. Like get to those 100 total listens. Oh my God, that's the next milestone.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
So with that being said, throw those fucking horns up.
See y'all later.
The Brothers in Horns podcast is produced by the Wilson Brothers. Our editor is Cade Zacharias. Thank you to the band Power Castle for providing our intro and outro music. Thank you also to Grant Hamilton for designing our amazing logo. Check out the episode's show notes for links to the music we discussed today. Our podcast is on all major platforms, and we'll be releasing episodes the first week of every month. Lastly, be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube for additional content, both under the name Brothers in Horns.